call the meeting to order. Approval of the agenda that may be amended. Do we want to move anything up, Michael?
I don't know if we need to move anything around, but I do have a request as an addition to the agenda to make a resolution to pass the loan agreement for RF 3554-3.
So can we just make a motion to
459-2.
make that, do the loan agreement resolution right after this approval of the agenda as number 3, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
Yeah, and you guys are salmon, and Lucretia's yellow.
Okay. So motion, Chris?
Yep, motion. So moved.
Peggy's waving at us. How come?
Can't hear us?
You're muted.
I can't hear you, Peggy.
You're muted.
Trying to unmute.
There you are.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear us?
I was waving.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
sorry.
All right.
Thought you were.
So, all in favor of the motion to amend the agenda to include the loan agreement resolution? Number 3? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so number 3, we're going to do the loan agreement resolution. It is for Vermont State Revolving Fund, loan RF3-554-3.0. The loan amount is $21 million, and this is from the SRF, and it's for the water line. If you remember, a year and a half ago, we got some money that's free and some money that's at 0%
Sure,
interest rate.
yeah.
So this is at the 0% interest rate for 40 years.
Okay.
So what happened is that we got approved back then, and then it comes to us a year later,
Yep.
and the job is working. So now we need to have a motion
Okay.
to accept this for Michael, for us to sign,
Yep.
and the town clerk to sign. And is there a slot for you as the manager?
Just legislative officials and.
So can I get a motion for
Yep.
the board to sign this resolution along with the town clerk?
Yep. So
Second.
moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
One
Okay.
more.
There's
This is-
another one for the smaller amount.
It's for the engineering
This
services.
is the engineering side.
Contract
So
4.
Vermont State Revolving Fund, Contract 4, Loan RF3-459-2.1. This loan amount is $1,315,800. It's also from the same group, the SRF, State Revolving Fund for water systems. And
This is our 0%
this
one.
is still 0%
Yep.
too, or whatever.
Yep.
So,
Motion.
second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the minutes.
It's in here. I was working on a
There
draft.
was minutes on,
I don't have any. Were they sent to us?
restricted funds. There was none. So
Yeah.
we did them on a meeting on.
Oh,
Thursday
last
night.
meeting.
We did
Okay.
on Thursday night,
Yep.
we did them, so,
Okay.
We thought maybe we'd be able to get the last ones in there, but.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
Appoint a select board chair and vice chair. I think we just go into executive session first and talk about that or whatever.
Yep. I think we move that to executive
You
session.
know,
Great.
Select board member feedback and concerns. Yeah, I think Bob.
No, no.
covered.
No, the only thing that came up to me was, in speaking to some business owners, just maybe something directive at the top of West Hill Road, letting know that the latter part of Killington Road is open
Okay. Oh, for business?
for business purposes.
I reached out to Mitchell's, first I reached out to Tom Markowski last week, and he told me that he gets his signs that are, the construction signs that say that from Mitchell's Tees. I thought we would benefit off, they're not really expensive. I thought we'd benefit off having 1 or 2 around the shop anyway, just in case we get road reconstruction.
Yep.
So I'm just waiting for an email back from Mitchell's Tees.
They're not really quick at that.
So what?
Yeah, they
so-
told me it would like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, I would suggest that you call up Amy Laramie.
Hmm.
They have a sign group in-house at Killington, and they've done stuff for us.
Yeah, it's either that or,
Or even the company that we use for our 911 signs makes the other signs or whatever on the metal, or whatever.
Green Screen Graphics moves pretty
Yeah.
quick on that stuff, too.
She told me she would expedite it. She said 2 to 3 weeks, but she'd get back with me and expedite, so if I didn't
just-
answer differently, I'll
They're
go
not a
somewhere
shine
else.
shop.
Okay.
So I think Jim's idea of the resort maybe helping out and whatever.
I think it's a good idea.
The only thing as sitting as a zoning person, say is that we can't put an single individual company's name. And we're gonna have we're gonna have roads shutting down for certain times or whatever for the next bunch of years. You know, maybe just at night where they'll have half the road or whatever, and there will be construction, and someone might think it looks like there's construction as we move down the road. We should have something that says like all businesses below this point are open or whatever, you know, because.
Yeah, it's not, it's actually a state law. You're not allowed to advertise off your own property.
Yeah.
So it's not even anything with our zoning.
But we come and say that all business, like,
Yeah, we can just say,
unfortunately for us, the sign down at the bottom of the road, okay,
doesn't help when you look at this.
well, it got hit by an excavator.
I was wondering what happened,
Power.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, the
Power
power.
got hit.
It was only a matter of time.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been up. I think they're coming in this week or whatever to fix it.
I know the issue was around the river shed, and
Yeah.
and they were the only ones that have complained to me about it. I was very clear, I didn't want her to put like buy one, get one chicken wings or anything on there, directing them in that direction, but I respect your concerns and can make the change.
Yeah. so
It's just something to,
Make sure that everybody, because then all of a sudden we're gonna have on West Hill Road, we know this town too well.
and the other question I had too, was there an event permit issued for the bike race this weekend?
I know that we talked to Whit about it. I can follow up on that.
Because there was no police detail at all. Bikes trying to climb West Hill Road was not exactly, could have been policed a little bit better
Okay.
than it was.
You know what they didn't do this year? And they didn't come to us with, and they were off for they weren't here the last 2 years.
They haven't been here in a couple
For a
years.
couple of years.
Nope.
But they used to come and at least ask for permission to use town roads. They have to do that.
If I recall correctly, I did seek permission from the board to approve a race,
We approved
but
a
I
race.
think it was the
but we-
100 on 100.
Yeah.
That was the only one we did, yeah. We did do that.
Right.
The only reason is just, again, whether anyone wants to admit it or not, it was probably Killington's last weekend of skiing, okay? And that coupled with a bike race going on and other traffic, it was, and West Hill being narrower than it should be.
Oh,
It just,
Killington Road being shut.
yeah, it just,
Yeah.
it hurt,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, there were signs down on River Road, but there was nothing coming up this way.
That's because his race is on Monday. It goes from the Sky Ship to Town Hall. That's where they do that.
Oh, is that where they-
Flat, whatever. So they put-
That's why I'm just asking what there was, so.
Just
I
follow
know
up
that,
with
I know that
Whit
we'd spoken about it in our department head meetings, that it was happening.
Okay.
But we can
Yeah,
go into more detail.
I mean, we just put that event thing in place that pays money towards the.
I mean, he's supposed to show, and Gary, the person running it, was supposed to show that he had hired on sheriffs and stuff, especially crossing over from Route 100 to get over towards West Hill. I wasn't here, but I guess that's where they would have went this time.
I don't know where they went. It's kind of.
They didn't come up Killington Road.
That would have been mountain biking.
Yeah.
Cool.
So just those two things there,
Okay.
from those guys there. You know, I'm gonna just come out and it's like, this is feedback and concerns, and Rob, you're new here or whatever right now, and it takes a lot to, you know, you're on the select board now. You could ask Chris.
Like it or not.
You're gonna get calls.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
You can't base your opinion off of every single call. You know, we are one of three.
Mhm.
And, you bring the concerns.
And you bring it to
that-
this
you-
forum.
you
Yeah,
bring it-
right, okay.
You bring it to them, but, you're gonna take a lot of heat for certain things too, and it's not fun all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But, if something wrong goes in town, even though we're a major form of government,
Mm-hmm.
it still comes to, everyone thinks it's the select board. So take
All
it,
right.
take it in stride, and
Mhm.
that's just my little feedback to you.
Mhm.
whatever.
No
So,
problem.
open to public comment, I'll look into the audience. I'll start with, you're here for a liquor license, right?
Yep.
Okay. Andrew, you got anything? Ken, you got anything?
Yeah, I got one, one minor question. I was taking a look at the job description for the highway foreman.
Okay.
Okay, was there a job description prior to this one that's being put out there for the highway foreman?
Do you mean when they hired Ricky?
I mean, period. Was there a job description for the highway foreman that existed before the one that's been posted and
Can you
put
get back to him
online?
on that? Yeah, that had to be some
Years
12
ago.
years ago, 12 or 15 years ago?
Yeah, it's something I'd have to look at, Ken, and I could get back with you on it.
Okay, if you could let me know on that, I'd be appreciated.
Yes, sir.
Is that it?
That's it?
We have an iPhone. Whoever's on the iPhone, can you please just say what your name is so we can put it down for the meeting?
Linda, it's not you. No, it's not you.
Somebody's on with iPhone. If you're not, so the rules that we have, if you don't say who you are, we're going to kick you out of the meeting because we don't know who you are. And by law, we need to know who you are. So iPhone, can you hear us? Or me? Going once? Going twice?
And I have asked you to unmute so that you know who we're talking about.
So we've given it more than 30 seconds, so boot the
Oh.
person.
They've left.
Okay. So they left on their own?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Polly, do you have any questions, or are you just listening in? I think she says listening in. Okay,
I'm just listening in, thanks.
okay. So approve orders and payroll?
Yes, most of those were,
So
Some of the
this is,
older ones.
so I know like we're just starting to do this now or whatever, and I was thinking back to, it wasn't me that was appointed to sign. Back when it was Chris Bianchi, myself, and Mike Miller, we had made a motion, and it kept on following through, that you only needed one signature for the checks to go out. And then if you stop by the office, you go through it, and we do read through these things, and, sometimes you'll see something like once, like $18 4 times for one store the same day, and you question it, and
Right,
then
right.
you go from there or whatever. So, do we really want to sit here and go through each one? Or I think we should just,
No, I
think right now we just
the
go
policy is
through
such,
it, go through it.
we
sign
should
them for
all,
today.
we all need to sign them.
Right.
But I believe, and we've operated this way for a long time with the warrants and especially with the fire district, our signatures are required on them.
Right.
Okay, we review them as in depth of what we want to, but it has always been, even with, again, bring back the fire district, you need a signature for them to move forward. And I
Right.
think
You
that
just
works
need
fine.
one signature.
Because ultimately, it's not a select board signature on the check, so it doesn't really matter. That way.
Well, you're supposed to be in charge of.
Yeah, but you're in charge of, we're gonna put it out, so we know that one person saw it, so.
So basically, I will sign it as the third, at least the second signature, because I know, like in this past election, there were some things brought up, and we did go to legal. There is no nepotism, there is no conflict, okay? But since Mary Ellen is drawing those warrants, correct? She's writing them up, or is Mary Ellen's writing them up?
Yeah.
We need one signature first, and if you guys, then I can make the second signature. One signature will get it so that you can go ahead and send out the checks like we have in the last 20 years or whatever.
I actually really like the method that you you all operate with now,
Right.
because it does resolve the problem of me presenting you with warrants and then
So
Having to answer
what was
questions on the
happening
fly.
a long time ago is that the manager would bring these warrants and we'd go through them. If you have like, I would go down on Tuesdays and Fridays if they had. So if you have a day during the week that you can just
Okay.
pop into the town manager's office and ask Mona, you'll see where they are and then you just read through them
Okay,
and go from there.
all right, simple enough.
All right.
And then I just bring them to the meeting after everyone's signed them, just so everyone has the opportunity to view them. They didn't make it down to the office.
Right.
Okay.
So sometimes you may.
Is that necessary? Because quite honestly,
We do have to do that part.
Well, you remember we were getting where I would sign them, like 3 years ago? And then they had to come because there was a stack that nobody was going
yeah, but
into.
everyone else needs to sign it.
Yeah, everyone
Yeah,
else
just
needs
make
to
sure everyone
sign
signs it.
Yeah, just,
I would agree.
Yeah.
so if you get a stack, Michael,
Yeah.
that there's only one signature on it,
Yeah.
if you can just bring them
Sign
to the
these.
board.
Okay.
And we'll just sign it, but we don't need it to be on as an item anymore.
Okay.
All right.
Um,
So can I just get a motion, just so, since it's been over like 12 years, a motion that one select board member signing the warrants will authorize the town to send out the checks? Chris?
So moved.
Rob?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And saying that, I will be the second or third signature. Okay. Peggy, Board of Liquor Control.
Okay, I wanted to start off with the renewal for Baja Burrito.
So I've got Baja Burrito, outside consumption permit, third class and first class.
Yes.
And everything is in place, correct?
Yes.
Can I get a motion, Rob, to allow the town clerk to move forward with Baja Burrito outside third and first? Say, move.
Motion, yep.
Second, all in favor? Aye.
Abstain.
Rob, in favor?
Yes, aye.
So now what's the next one? The Killington Cafe and Wine Bar?
Yeah, a first, second, and third class at Woods, 53 Woods Lane. And I
Right.
believe Mr. Levine is in the audience.
Correct.
If you have any questions.
Okay. So I have a question here, that it's not a renewal, so that's why the check mark's not there. Your name, your
Correct.
first name is, again, is?
Howard.
Howard, right.
Correct.
Okay. So can you just, here's your little chance, you'll be on TV of what you're doing over at the Woods Condominium.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to come here today. I'm a representative from the Killington Cafe and Wine Bar. I, together with three partners, are forming the Cafe and Wine Bar. We are in the process of renovating, for those of you who know it, the old brewery space at the Woods. We are renovating that, and if all goes well, hope to open in July. Our intent is to, while the focus is wine, we do want to be able to serve beer and liquor as well. And we will start with just having simple snacks, charcuterie, cheese, things like that to accompany the liquor, but eventually we hope to expand to a full restaurant.
And the second-class license, that's for people to buy beer and take back to the units,
Correct,
or wine?
correct.
Um,
That was based on feedback from some of the owners who wanted the ability to be able to stop in and pick up a bottle of wine or a six-pack of beer on their way when they're coming up here for the
And
weekend.
you'll learn the rules from the Division of Alcohol, the
Yeah.
liquor company, where it might have to be on a separate cash register and that kind of stuff over there.
Right.
So, everything's in place, Peggy?
Yes.
Okay. Rob, can I get a motion to allow the town clerk for Killington Cafe and Wine Bar, first, second, and third? Second, all in favor? Aye.
Abstain.
Chris is abstaining because he owns a liquor license and he can't vote. Okay. Is that it, Peggy?
That's it, thank you.
Thank you. Driveway permits, 232 Barrows Town Road.
Just real quickly, I'm going to give you a breakdown of what Will gave me for this driveway permit. Will is our new assistant planner, and he's taken over the administrative side of the permitting. It's just a recreational driveway. A 911 sign isn't needed. The landowner, Susan Durant, she wants to create a personal hiking trail system on her property. And then Abby has created special terms for this driveway construction, and all fees have been paid.
So is 232, that's actually Susan Durant and Mitch Kimball's real address, I think. This is across the street. Okay. So, a motion for the town to move forward with a driveway permit for Susan Durant and Mitchell Kimball, and it's a recreation and land management.
Yeah, make a motion, we approve the application before us.
Get a second? All in favor?
All right.
Department reports, general fund comparative report. I don't know if we have that one. Oh, here we go. This is just, Rob, just to go through and you take a look at it, and what's weird on here that you're gonna notice is that there's period 10. So this is, our year ends in June, so it's 2 months back from.
Got it.
So this is,
Okay.
yeah, of 2023
Right,
cycle.
so that's the actual.
Yep, that's the year over year, right?
You see our
Yeah.
budget in front of it. And then where we were at. Anyway.
I always look for red flag numbers
Yep.
here, but
Anything stand out?
no, not in this report, aside from, I believe some of the insurance is pretty high, but we knew that would happen.
The what now?
The insurance is a little high, but we knew that would happen.
Insurance for what now?
Employee.
Employee.
I know it was last year.
It's right here with this.
Okay.
Listings.
Yeah, we're at 69,000.
I hadn't been through a 4 years.
So we hadn't budgeted properly the year before?
Yeah, that happens a lot of times with insurance. So they come in, they do an audit, and they see that you have X amount of more employees than you were accounting for. And so I imagine that might have been it, but.
Because this is what, workers' compensation one and property and casualty, or a different one?
Workman's comp is that high for us?
Well, it's high because we got highway and it's.
That categories.
Categories up there.
Wow.
The property and casualty insurance is probably higher too because of,
Rate increases.
well, remember, we took on a new building and probably.
Yeah.
This is not this budget is not Michael's budget in front of us.
Right.
Michael's budget starts July. So, so we probably forgot to include what the.
Increases there, or
And
just the rate
increases.
increase, the rate
Yeah.
increases are phenomenal, so. Okay, good.
Can I get a motion to?
Yes, you have a
accept
motion to pass
comparative
April report for April.
Second, Rob?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I've got the
You got golf
golf course comparative report.
Yeah, David promised us he'd come to the meetings here when I showed these. I can take the fall for this one, I think, just with the odd day of the
Yeah.
day, I didn't
I'm
get
gonna
this
take the
information
fault
to
away
him.
from you.
Okay, thank you.
Promise for 3 years or 5 years that we would be here. I think it's actually in their contract. So it's not yours to.
Yeah, I'll do a better job motivating him.
We know that we do this, the second meeting of the month. So just remind them at the second meeting of the month that we've got this thing here.
Will do, and then I'll actually make it a point to make sure he has this report.
You know, and I mean, and I look at this and I just see like the total pro shop, the actual in period 10 for 2023 was 783, and this year is 803. You know, we budgeted, so we're, $20,000, 83, about 20 grand above. But we also kind of budgeted a little bit more than 20 grand, or whatever. You know, the total revenues, 958 is what we're at. 935 was the actual last year. Once again, we budgeted about $100,000 more, so we're only about $25,000 more there.
And
So-
this report is for April.
For April,
So
so.
you still got May and June.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so
what
we
I'm
still have-
getting at, you know, hopefully we have a
Hope to get
better May and
something.
June than last May and June.
Last June was tough.
So that was kind of.
Oh, the rain, huh?
Yeah, we had a lot of rain, and
Yeah.
so,
All right, motion to accept the report for Green Mountain National for April 2024.
a second, Rob?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and the last one is the treasurer's report. Let's just give us a rundown. So we, as of April 30th, we had 8,789,485.89 in the account. 3,495,000 is restricted. There's actually 64,596 that's owed to the restricted funds because there's a negative number in that restricted. And on June 1, we have to send a check out of $6,787,341. So we have enough in there to send that check out to the state. And since April, we've already known that we've gotten, how much? We got like 380,000, I think, or whatever, in option tax money that came in.
Yeah.
And then the sale.
And then the sale.
tax sale.
The tax sale is coming in June for the Heights.
Heights.
Okay, so that we'll have those funds coming in also. And then you also got money coming in from Abby, working on
Reimbursement.
FEMA
from
that came in during April and May, correct?
Yeah.
How much is Abby up to about right now? I mean, the last we said was 59, but I think now it's,
Oh, yeah, I think she gave me a reimbursement amount of 400 some odd thousand.
okay, so it's
So-
about another $350,000 since the last time that we talked about this. So money's coming in, and we'll get some other money from states and other areas too, whatever, for May and June.
Yep.
We were also floating a lot of funds between the start of construction and the approval of this RF3 loan
Right.
Yeah.
in the realm of about 4 million. So that will go to pay back the band, but still we're make the
I think some of the
Balance sheet
money,
looked a
though,
little
too,
bit
in the
better.
beginning, the previous manager wasn't hitting the ban up. He was using when we were flush in the general fund. So I think you'll see that some of that money will go back there, too.
Well, especially we're complete with engineering for contract 4, which is what that
1.3 or whatever.
1.31, so that should just go right back.
Right, and I think that was not from the ban, so most of it.
No, it wasn't. I don't
Right,
think
so
any of
that's
that
gonna-
was.
Yeah, so that's all gonna come back to us.
That's right.
Okay.
So we are keeping a close eye on.
I mean, the good thing is, it's April 30th, and the golf course had 315 in the bank.
Yep.
And the restaurant had 24,000 in the bank or whatever. So another year that they didn't have to borrow any money for, because if you look at it, it says underneath the pro shop, there is a $350,267 reimbursement due to the town for prior year startup expenses. So at some point, we're gonna start taking a look at how we get that back
Peel that
over
back.
into
Okay,
the.
all right.
All right, but it's been like 5 or 6 years that they finally don't have to borrow money. They used to borrow money to
Be
get
able
the
to
golf
operate.
course open.
Okay.
Now they close and they pay the winter work and they get to open up.
Flush.
Motion to accept the treasurer report,
yeah,
April
motion.
30th.
Lucretia does have her hand up.
Go ahead, Lucretia.
So I just want to go on record to let you know that I am a little concerned about our cash flow right now.
Okay.
Once we pay that school, the payment to the state, we will be well into our reserve funds, our restricted funds, I should say. Just letting you know that.
Okay.
Because our balance will be,
Well, if you take 6 million,
Off of that, we're at
6,000,007
2
away
million.
from 9.7, you got 2 million. So you're already short $1.4 million right
yeah,
there.
yep,
But this is as of April, and then it's still May and June has
May
cost.
isn't any better.
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna tell
But-
you right now, May
yeah.
isn't any better.
But we also realize that, we could go out and borrow money for the work that's being done up on East Mountain Road.
We
That's
haven't
gonna
done
get, we haven't done it. We did have some excess reserve, not reserve, but whatever funds, unrestricted funds at the time. What are we added up on East Mountain Road? We're pushing already almost $2 million up there.
Yeah, and Mosier's almost completed with his first contract,
Right.
which was about 1.5. I think he's got just a
Right.
couple more culverts to install.
But we've been paying
We've been paying those
out
bills.
of there,
Yeah.
out of the general
Yeah.
fund.
Right.
So we probably paid over $1.2 million already
Yeah.
out.
FEMA is what,
Right.
is what got us.
This is the same thing that happened,
Just
Lucretia,
waiting.
back at
Well,
Irene.
the disaster
Yeah.
in of
Yeah.
itself is what got us.
Lucretia, this is about the same, where we were paying out for Irene, and we were paying it out of our general fund, and then waiting for the monies to come back. And that's what kind of got us into borrowing all that time back there. But back during Irene, they allowed not to pay the school tax bill on time, correct?
I don't recall, I wasn't treasurer at the time,
Oh, yeah.
but
Okay.
we don't have that same luxury this time.
Yeah,
around.
2011, because it was a statewide or whatever, you didn't have to pay your bill in the December period.
Okay.
They gave you like 6 months to catch up. We were one of the few towns that didn't have to borrow money at that time to pay for the work.
Okay.
And at the same time, we got this balance back up, so, hopefully between now and the end of June, maybe we can see another $1 million or so coming in so the books look good and we go from there.
Well, I hope so, because we're not gonna be getting any tax money till the end of July.
Right.
At the earliest. Just
And-
letting you, I'm just making you aware.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
all.
And the board has the capability every year, the statute that the town can borrow money for such shortfalls, I think
Yeah.
up to $500,000 or whatever.
Yes, you can, there's certain borrowing mechanisms that you can go for.
Right.
But if you're gonna go for them, you gotta go for them now. And
Right.
And what are anticipated expenditures over the course of the next month or two?
I don't look at expenses, I look at the cash and where the cash is. I can only report on that.
Okay.
Between Michael, Mona, and Mary Ellen, they should have a handle on what our monthly expenses are running, and I'm sure right now with everything going on, that they are
They're not gonna know.
higher than in a normal
Yeah.
year.
You can't go
But
back.
I'm just concerned because we're well into our restricted funds, which we are not supposed to be into. And because we will, as of Friday, when we pay that, when we make the state payment to the school, not even taking into account the checks that have already been mailed out have not yet been cashed. Just working with what we have right now, we're going to have about 2.1 million left.
So Michael,
Michael did go for a draw on the band today, so we just got another $900, almost $1 million put in there. But again, that's borrowed money, that's going to have to be paid back in August. We should have the money by then, but I'm just making you aware. I'm sorry.
Lucretia, it's okay. So I guess, Michael, what you really need to do is sit down with your finance people and find out, like what we're saying on that note right there, the 1.3 million. When do we expect to get that in? From the SRF that we just approved and we have to sign? How long does it take to get that money in?
30 days once we submit the reimbursement.
So
request.
if we submit that this week, we'll have it back before, and I think you had said most of that money is what's owed to the general fund.
That's correct.
So that would be another $1.3 million on top of the $2 million, so you'll be over 3 point something, whatever, which would get you the restricted funds back into balance that Lucretia's talking about. The sale of the place is like $300,000 that's gonna be coming in hopefully in the month of June. And it's gonna be tight, but maybe take a look at any other things that in the past was paid from the general fund for the TIF project or for the work up on East Mountain Road. and come to the board 2 weeks before the year ends in June, and tell us what we need to approve to borrow money to get everything straight.
Can do. And I.
It's a one-time, it's not, I can't say it's a one-time thing, because it happened in 2011, and now it's happening again. But on top of this, it's not just Route 4, East Mountain Road, it's also some TIF stuff that should have really been borrowed from the band prior to you being here. Should have been borrowed from the band and not from the general fund.
Yeah, and I share Lucretia's concerns. We spoke, I made sure to speak with her today before I paid the Markowski invoice that was on your warrant here tonight. And over the last few months have made a great deal of attempt to work with Moscoma to make sure that we can get through the next few months until August rolls around.
July, really.
Yeah, July. So.
Okay.
So we're working towards a solution.
So,
I have a question, if I may.
sure.
How are the construction costs being tracked?
How are the
What was
construction?
the last word?
How are the construction costs being tracked?
We have an automated accounting system, so anytime an invoice comes in, say Markowski sends,
Prior to the invoice, do you know in advance, okay, do you have a cash flow schedule that shows you roughly in advance, okay, what the contractors are coming in with on a monthly basis?
we have a schedule of values every month is attached to the pay app with unit pricing.
Can you tell me 2 months from now,
No.
do you have a construction projection cost, okay, of what's coming from Markowski, what's coming from Casella, what's happening on East Mountain Road, okay, a cost that goes against, okay, the progress of the work that they are going to bill for in advance? If you have a construction schedule of 6 months or 8 months, it is very easy for that contractor, those contractors, okay, to project their costs across that duration of time. Do you have that?
Ken, I can follow up with you after so if we have to address the one issue, we can also address that one if you'd like to speak with me after
I've
that.
asked 2 questions, and you're deferring them to a later point in time, Michael.
So
That's correct.
I'm going to say to you, Ken, that we've hired on an engineering firm that is in control of the Route 4 to Anthony Way with Markowski. We've hired on VHB that is in charge of going through. We meet once a month with the state that these folks put their bills in. I know what you're asking for, but they put their bills in. The state person has to sign off on the bill. The town has to sign off on the bill. But what you're asking for is with a projection of what the work is going to be.
Absolutely,
next
so
2
it
days.
doesn't become a crisis, as my wife is asking for the
Well, your
clerk.
wife's not asking that crisis. She's saying she's concerned
She's
about
noticing
money.
a deficit that's coming up, and she's advising you folks, okay, of a potential, okay, shortfall again for next month, I believe.
I'm gonna say thank you, but we also just said that there's $1.3 million that we just signed off on now that's coming in. So thank you for the heads up. And as I had said earlier, before we got into this conversation with Ken, that if you, Mona, and Mary Ellen could sit through and kind of give us what you expect for the next 2 or 3 months, as Ken is saying also, and then you can come to the meeting, the second meeting of the month of June. You'll have a better idea of what's in the cash, okay, as Lucretia has said, and then we'll know what we would need to, if we need to borrow any money, because of the East Mountain Road work that's being done.
Thank you.
And also because of a prior manager taking money from the general fund and not from the band. Okay?
I would just like to say one thing, though. All of them, even if we do that, Ken, and I'm sorry, I'm not deferring out of disrespect, I'm just doing it because I'm used to a forum where the public comments and there isn't this kind of back and forth, so it's out of my, this is new to me. So, not really new, but still a little new. So, even if it were $3 million next month, or $200,000 next month, all of that money is reimbursed off of loans that have already been approved. So we just seek reimbursements off of those loans as soon as that amount comes in. So it's not like we have a $2.5 million shortfall next month because we got a $2.5 million bill. That money is reimbursed off of the pre-approved loan as soon as it comes in.
So we're gonna have a meeting, the second meeting of the month of June, and you'll have a month to come up with a schedule. But what I think the taxpayers have to also realize is back in 2023, 75% of the voters approved for the town to borrow short-term up to $20 million to fund the TIF and then reimbursement coming back from the TIF. And also, the town was up forward, or the board was up front, showing that there would be a negative balance going at some point, and that's why we would be borrowing money, and then 25, 26, it starts going down. So, but if you can just stick to the original, I think Ken and I were asking the same question. I'm just saying the second meeting in June, you, your finance director, your accounts payable person, to kind of give us a better idea. So that way, if we are short going into the end of the year, we can possibly borrow some money. And maybe have the conversations, like you said, you're already talking to Mascoma, correct?
Ken, I think, yeah, I think it may be more than just a project cash flow analysis. I
Right.
think it would be an entire general fund,
Right.
because again, I don't think, that right at this moment now, finally, with the approval of the SRF loan,
I don't think you're gonna have
there
a
isn't
problem
a
as
cash flow
much.
problem with projects.
Right.
It would just be operating funds.
What I see is you're getting about $1.7 million in the next 30 days before June ends. $1.3 million and change there, and then 300 and something thousand from the sale of the development rights.
But this has been hitting us because of, we're floating everything in Killington East. We're floating, it's not, we're
This is mostly
overspending.
Killington East.
This- I know.
Markowski,
This is what I'm
what
trying to say.
Michael's trying to say is Markowski and Casella, it's not. There's a ban out there,
That is supposed to be taken
and
care of.
it's taken
separately.
care of from
I
there.
get that, but what I'm saying is, the reason that our cash flow is down is what it is because of
A
we're
flood,
being
July.
hit from the flood,
Yeah.
and we're floating that, waiting for reimbursement from FEMA.
Correct.
I'll work with Mary Ellen on it. She might give me a hard time because we're prepping for the BEPSI tabletop audit at the end of June, but I can
I don't
work
think
with
she's
her.
gonna give you a hard
Okay,
time.
good. Talk to
So,
her.
all right. So we've gone through the department reports. I'm gonna open it back up to public comment.
She never gives me a hard time, by the way.
Monica, you? Okay. Anybody online? Hearing none. Other business, Michael?
No, sir.
Okay. I just want to say, like, for other business or whatever, I mean, no matter what, and this is kind of what I was leading into the beginning underneath feedback or whatever, you know, I don't answer anything into any of these social media pages, but I do look online at times, and I don't know how much better this town can get of putting into the police department, the fire department, the town hall, the Mountain Times, the sign down at the end of the road when the electricity's to it, okay, saying what's going on East Mountain Road and/or at this section here. And, you know, running into people like, I wish the town would have, that's what I'm getting at, like, take it.
Yeah.
We're putting the information out there. So we have an executive session for a personnel matter at 7:15.